There's this thing that happens when everyone around you is making weekend plans and you feel nothing. Not fear of missing out, not regret. Just this quiet, almost guilty relief that you don't have to go anywhere. You're scrolling through Instagram stories of packed bars, road trips, concert crowds, and all you can think is, that sounds exhausting. If that's you, you're not broken, you're not missing some essential piece of the human experience. You're just wired differently. And today, we're going to talk about why. You know this feeling if you've ever canceled plans at the last minute and felt your whole body exhale, like your nervous system finally got permission to stop pretending. You know this if you've ever been called boring or antisocial just because you'd rather stay in than hit up some party where you don't know anyone. You know this if your idea of a perfect Friday night involves sweatpants, your favorite show, and absolutely zero small talk. Maybe it started when you were younger. Maybe you were the kid who brought a book to recess, the one who felt drained after birthday parties, not energized, the one who needed alone time to recharge, even when nobody understood what that meant. And now, years later, you've built a life that honors that. A life where home isn't just a place, it's your baseline, your safe zone, the only place where you don't have to perform. But here's the thing, society treats that like it's a problem. Like you need to be fixed. So let's talk about what's really going on here. Psychologists call this preference for solitude and home-based living high internal self-presence. It's the ability to feel more connected to your inner world than the outer one. The term was explored by researchers studying introversion, creativity, and what's called restorative solitude. The kind of alone time that doesn't drain you, it refills you. And here's what matters. This isn't avoidance. It's not social anxiety masquerading as a lifestyle choice. It's a legitimate psychological orientation where your emotional energy is preserved, protected, and replenished at home. People like this aren't running away from life. They're running toward peace, and peace in a world that glorifies constant hustle and hyperconnectivity, that's radical. If you're relating to this right now, like really relating, you're in the right place. This is Unfelt, where we explore the psychology behind what you feel but can't always put into words. The stuff that doesn't fit neatly into Instagram captions. All right, let's go deeper. So, where does this actually come from? Why do some people grow up craving connection and stimulation, while others crave quiet and solitude? Let's start with childhood. If you're someone who loves staying home, there's a good chance you were a highly sensitive kid. Maybe you felt everything a little too much. The teacher's raised voice, the chaos of the cafeteria, the overwhelming energy of a crowded classroom. You weren't dramatic. You were just processing the world at a deeper level than most kids do. Psychologist Elaine Aron calls this sensory processing sensitivity, a trait found in about 15 to 20% of the population. These kids notice subtleties. They pick up on emotional undercurrents. They get overstimulated easily. And when the world feels like too much, they retreat. Not because they're weak, because they're smart. Home becomes the one place where they don't have to manage everyone else's energy, where they can finally just breathe. But here's where it gets complicated. If you grew up in a household where your need for solitude wasn't respected, where you were pushed to be more social or told you were too shy, you might have internalized the belief that something was wrong with you. You learned to feel guilty for needing what you need. And that guilt, it sticks. Even now, as an adult, you might still feel like you have to justify staying home, like you owe people an explanation for why you'd rather be alone. But here's the truth. You don't. Psychologist Carl Jung once said, "Loneliness does not come from having no people around you, but from being unable to communicate the things that seem important to you." And that's the thing, isn't it? Home isn't where you escape people. It's where you escape the exhausting performance of pretending to be someone you're not. It's where you can finally communicate with yourself. So, what does this actually look like in adulthood? Let's break down the 7 patterns that define people who genuinely love staying home. 1. You feel drained by social obligations, not energized by them. Most people talk about going out like it's this recharging experience. For you, it's the opposite. Even fun events leave you feeling depleted, not because you didn't enjoy yourself, but because socializing cost you emotional energy that takes days to recover. You know this if you've ever come home from a dinner with friends and immediately needed to decompress for like 3 hours. 2. You cancel plans and feel relief, not regret. When something gets canceled, you don't feel disappointed, you feel free. It's not that you don't care about people. It's that the idea of staying home feels like a gift you just got handed. You know this if you've ever secretly hoped someone would cancel, so you wouldn't have to be the bad guy. 3. Your hobbies don't require an audience reading. Gaming, writing, drawing, binge watching an entire series in one sitting. Your idea of a good time doesn't involve other people. And that's not sad, that's self-sufficient. You've cultivated a rich internal life that doesn't need external validation to feel meaningful. You know this if you've ever felt more fulfilled finishing a book than going to a party. 4. You overthink social interactions for days. After any social event, you replay the entire thing in your head. Did I talk too much? Not enough? Did that joke land weird? It's not insecurity, it's hyper-awareness. You process social dynamics on a deeper level, which is why they exhaust you. You know this if you've ever needed a full day to recover from a 30-minute conversation. 5. You prefer deep conversations over small talk. You can't do surface-level chit-chat. It makes your skin crawl. You'd rather talk about existential dread, childhood trauma, or the meaning of life than discuss the weather or what someone did last weekend. And when people don't go deep, you check out. You know this if you've ever felt lonelier in a crowd than you do sitting alone in your room. 6. You need advance notice before making plans. Spontaneous hangouts, hard pass. You need time to mentally prepare for social interaction. It's not about being controlling, it's about protecting your energy. You know this if someone saying, "Let's hang out tonight," makes you want to fake your own death. 7. Home is where you feel most like yourself. Outside, you're managing. At home, you're being. You don't have to modulate your tone, or control your facial expressions, or worry about how you're coming across. Home is the only place where the mask comes off. And honestly, that's sacred. Okay, real talk. Which one of those 7 patterns hit the hardest? Drop a number in the comments, 1 through 7. And if this is your first time watching Unfelt, then subscribe to our channel. We make deep psychological content like this every single week. Content that actually gets it. All right, let's keep going. So, what's actually happening in the brain of someone who loves staying home? Let's talk neuroscience. The amygdala and overstimulation. Your amygdala is your brain's alarm system. It's the part that scans for threats and triggers your fight or flight response. In people who prefer solitude, the amygdala tends to be more reactive. That means you're picking up on stimuli, sounds, emotions, social cues that other people barely notice. It's not anxiety, it's sensitivity. And when your brain is constantly processing all that input, it gets tired. Home becomes the place where your amygdala can finally chill out. Dopamine regulation. Here's something wild. Introverts and people who love staying home tend to have a different dopamine response than extroverts. Extroverts get a huge dopamine hit from socializing, risk-taking, novelty. But for you, too much dopamine feels overwhelming, not exciting. That's why loud parties, crowded spaces, and constant social interaction feel more like sensory overload than fun. Your brain literally processes reward differently. And that's not a bug, that's a feature. The default mode network. When you're alone and your mind is wandering, that's your default mode network kicking in. It's the brain network responsible for self-reflection, creativity, memory consolidation, and making meaning out of experiences. And guess what? It's most active when you're not engaged with the outside world. So when people say you're doing nothing by staying home, they're wrong. Your brain is doing deep, complex, creative work. You're processing, integrating, becoming, and that's powerful. Okay, so here's the part where we talk about balance. Because yes, loving your home is valid, but it's also important to check in with yourself. Are you staying home because it genuinely nourishes you? Or are you staying home because you're avoiding something? There's a difference between restorative solitude and isolative avoidance. Restorative solitude feels peaceful. You're choosing it. It refills your cup. Isolative avoidance feels heavy. You're hiding. It empties you even more. And look, sometimes the line between those two is blurry. Maybe you started staying home because you needed rest. And somewhere along the way, it became a cage. That's okay. That doesn't mean you're broken. It just means it's time to recalibrate. So, how do you honor your need for home while still staying connected to the world? Here are 5 practical tools. 1. The energy audit, what it is. Tracking what drains you and what refills you. Why it works. You can't protect your energy if you don't know where it's going. How to do it. For 1 week, keep a simple log. After every activity, social or solo, rate your energy from 1 to 10. Notice patterns. Maybe coffee with one friend refills you, but group dinners drain you. Maybe solo walks restore you, but scrolling social media depletes you. Use that data to design a life that works for you, not what everyone else says you should want. 2. The soft re-entry. What it is. Slowly reintroducing social connection without overwhelming yourself. Why it works. If you've been isolating, jumping straight into a packed social calendar will backfire. How to do it? Start small. A 20-minute coffee date, a walk with one friend, a phone call instead of a hangout. Give yourself permission to leave early. You're not being rude, you're being honest. And honest boundaries create sustainable connection. 3. The solo date ritual, what it is. Intentionally spending quality time with yourself. Why it works. It reframes solitude as something you're choosing, not something you're stuck with. How to do it. Once a week, take yourself on a solo date. Go to a cafe and read, visit a museum, cook yourself a fancy meal, watch the sunset. Treat yourself the way you'd treat someone you love, because you deserve that care. 4. The boundary script. What it is. A pre-prepared response for when people pressure you to go out. Why it works. You won't have to scramble for excuses or feel guilty. How to use it. I appreciate the invite, but I'm taking some time to recharge this weekend. Let's plan something next week? Or, I'm not up for going out tonight, but I'd love to catch up over text or a call. You don't owe anyone a detailed explanation. Your energy is yours to protect. 5. The check-in. Question, what it is. A weekly self-reflection to stay honest with yourself. Why it works. It prevents isolation from creeping in disguised as self-care. The question, am I staying home because it nourishes me, or because I'm avoiding something uncomfortable? If the answer is avoidance, that's your cue to gently push yourself, not to become someone else, but to stay connected to the world in a way that doesn't cost you your peace. So, what does a healed, balanced version of this look like? It's not about forcing yourself to become an extrovert. It's not about saying yes to every invitation. It's about building a life where home is your sanctuary, not your prison. You still love staying in, but now you're also okay with occasionally stepping out, not because you have to, but because you want to. You have a few close friends who get you, people who don't drain you, people who respect your need for space. You've stopped apologizing for who you are. You've stopped feeling guilty for needing what you need. And when you're home, you're fully present, not scrolling, not numbing, just being. That's peace. That's freedom. And that's a life worth protecting. Before we wrap this up, I want to ask you something. If you could tell your younger self one thing about loving home, what would it be? Drop it in the comments, because unfelt isn't just a channel. It's a community where people actually understand each other, and someone out there needs to hear what you have to say. So here's what we've covered. People who love staying home aren't broken. They're not antisocial. They're not missing out on life. They're living intentionally. They've built a rich internal world that doesn't need constant external validation to feel meaningful. They protect their energy. They honor their sensitivity. They understand that peace is just as valuable as adventure. And if you're one of these people, you're not alone. Writer and poet Rumi once said, "Let yourself be silently drawn by the strange pull of what you really love. It will not lead you astray." And maybe that's what this whole thing is about. You're not avoiding life. You're being drawn toward what your soul actually needs. And that pull, that quiet, gentle pull toward home, trust it. You're not lazy. You're not antisocial. You're not wasting your life. You're protecting your peace. And now you get to live in a way that actually feels good. Not just looks good on paper, not constantly performing, just existing, fully, quietly, beautifully. If this hit home for you, you're exactly where you need to be. On Unfelt, we dive deep into psychology like this every single week. Hit subscribe if you want more of this kind of content. And in the comments, tell me, what topic should I cover next? Drop your suggestions. I read every single one. Take care of yourself. And remember, you're not alone.